Let's go live now to CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman. Okay, so President Trump has been accused of weaponizing the Justice Department, even though at the beginning of this second term, they said they wanted to do exactly the opposite. They blamed the Biden administration for weaponizing the DOJ. So what happens now?
Reed, I think you were having such a poignant conversation earlier about how this Department of Justice has changed since Pam Bondi took over, and how the boundary between the White House and DOJ has just been permeated. We see the president directing prosecutions. And now with Todd Blanche being appointed acting Attorney General, we have Trump's own personal attorney, who I sat in many court cases with, leading that department. So I think that while Blanche is very experienced, it's possible that we will continue to see this erosion. We know that Trump was dissatisfied with the way Pam Bondi was handling the prosecutions that he was asking for, that he wasn't getting the outcomes that he wanted. We saw her get indictments of James Comey and Letitia James, but then those were dismissed. So it's very likely that we are going to see this effort continued, especially under Todd Blanche, while he is acting Attorney General, and we will see if he ends up being the one who is put forward as the nominee for this position, or if it's Lee Zeldin, as we've also been hearing.
All right, let's keep this post on X from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche right now. This is the first that we are starting to hear from him about that call he got from the president, quickly announcing that he would be the interim, or the at least for temporary to be the AG. Pam Bondi, he writes on X, led this department with strength and conviction. He says he's grateful for her leadership and friendship, and thanks the president for the trust and the opportunity to serve as acting Attorney General. Todd Blanche sort of signaling they'll continue backing law enforcement, enforcing the law, and doing everything in our power to keep America safe. That's from a post on X, the first reaction from Todd Blanche now. Katrina, what is the reputation of Mr. Blanche in the legal community and in Washington, D.C.? Certainly, this brings a lot of focus back on those big issues. And also, I'm mindful of President Donald Trump going on social media and wanting more prosecutions, more investigations, more scrutiny on people like Letitia James and others.
Todd Blanche has a very strong reputation as a lawyer from his time in SDNY, and you also have to acknowledge that he was very successful representing President Trump in his many cases. He managed to get delays. There was, of course, the conviction in the New York criminal trial, but all of those other cases ultimately got knocked out because of his very successful representation in those cases. And even before that, he had a very strong reputation in the legal community. We also saw that when the Epstein files, when there was the interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, as you were talking about, down in Florida, Todd Blanche is the one who President Trump sent for that meeting. That was very unusual, but he also did not send Pam Bondi. He sent his own former personal attorney for that interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. This is someone who President Trump trusts inherently.
Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much. So if you're just joining us, President Trump made the announcement on his Truth Social platform. Pam Bondi's out. In fact, here it is once again for you. He's striking a congenial tone about Pam Bondi. Great American patriot, he calls her. A loyal friend, he calls her. Faithfully has served as my Attorney General over the past year. He also endorses her. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown on crime in our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. That from the President of the United States about Pam Bondi. So I want to go back to CBS News Justice reporter Jake Rosen. Jake, is there anything in statute or anything that a critic of this choice, and even though he's interim, right, is there anything that somebody in Congress or a critic of the president could cite in the law that says not appropriate to have somebody who represented you in other legal matters in a personal sense now representing the interests of the American public?
Not that I'm aware of, Reed, but again, we are in an era of unprecedented actions by this White House. I think, obviously, just on its face, appointing a former personal defense attorney of yours who successfully, I think, argued in the court of public opinion in that New York hush money trial, every day standing next to President Trump, talking to the media. It's certainly something that's going to be focused on in the confirmation hearings when now acting Attorney General Blanche goes to potentially, if he is nominated, the next level above. At the same time, Reed, this is really a reminder of how far President Trump's loyalty is willing to go up to a point. And as Democrats are potentially poised to take over at least one house of Congress in the fall, it is going off of what we've been talking about for the last half an hour here. It is true that Deputy Attorney General Blanche is one of the better communicators of this administration. He's somebody who gets offered to Sunday shows. He's somebody who has done more press availabilities as of late out of the Justice Department than Attorney General Bondi. And at the same time, he's somebody who, again, as Katrina just pointed out, has President Trump's ear. It's somebody who President Trump is going to have to rely upon to potentially, either be talked down off the ledge of continuing these political prosecutions out of this Justice Department, and how to kind of straighten this ship going into the midterms. We've seen it done once with Kristi Noem and Markwayne Mullin, that transition to kind of roll back some of the policies and kind of put the organization at DHS on a more straight line to its mission path, obviously under the Trump policies that are being asked to enforce. It's certainly possible that whether it's Todd Blanche or somebody else, Lee Zeldin, whose name has been thrown out there by our CBS News colleagues who are hearing more from the White House about potential meetings that have happened, all of that, it's going to come up to a decision out of the White House to take this Department of Justice that has been so rocked from mass departures and from the failed criminal indictments, from failed civil lawsuits in defending this White House's policies, to go forward and straighten the ship into the midterms.